Chapter 5, 197. Welcome aboard. Hold on for a bit more. The archer strained a little, bearing their weight as he darted through the abyss, his flight swift and effortless. Illuminated by the paper lantern, the three of them traveled through the darkness like a small comet, moving faster and faster. The wind whistled in Sonny's ears. He remained silent for a bit, dumbfounded, then asked, "Wait, was it you who brought St. Tyrus here?" Kai smiled, looking somewhere far away. "Of course, when you and Cassie didn't return to the real world, we knew that the negotiation with the representatives of Clan Valor must have failed. But when you didn't arrive at Shipwreck Island by November, as the plan had been, it was clear that something went wrong. So Effie and I waited for a bit, then went to the White Feather clan for help." He paused for a moment, and then added, "Eventually we decided to come to the Night Temple ourselves. That was a week ago. We have just arrived yesterday. But the citadel was sealed." Sonny frowned, suddenly catching an inconsistency in Kai's words. "Wait, a week ago? How did you cross the chained aisle so fast?" The archer smiled brightly. Look ahead." "What does he—" Sonny glanced forward and froze. They were swiftly approaching another source of light. This one much, much larger. Or rather, it was moving in their direction, even faster than Kai was flying. A few moments later, a graceful shape of a resplendent wooden ship became visible, flowing through the darkness of the sky below as though on water. Its sails were pristine white, and around the main mast a young tree was growing, its branches brimming with vibrant green leaves. The firekeepers had succeeded in repairing the ancient vessel after all, it seemed. It looked elegant and swift, its hull devoid of the cracks and breaches that had marred its surface before. A patchwork of replacement boards still stood out on the polished wood, and here and there the structure of the ship seemed rickety and slapdash, especially near the bow, which had been previously almost destroyed. However, overall, the vessel was a magnificent sight to behold. There was a battery of light memories illuminating the ship, an especially bright one burning at the tip of a long and sharp bowsprit. Human figures could be seen on the deck, moving around in a hurry. Sonny stared at the swiftly approaching ship, stunned by the sight of it. It was hard to believe that this had been the same abomination-invested wreck he knew. Now that the ancient vessel was repaired, it looked almost the same as on the golden coins he had sacrificed to the altar of Noctis. Kai accelerated even more, then slowed down, and landed on the wooden deck smoothly. Feeling a solid surface under his feet, Sonny swayed a little and looked at the firekeepers that surrounded them. Then, he sighed, and fell down, instantly losing consciousness. After the terrible day, no, a terrible month he had, some rest was long overdue. A couple of hours later, Sonny came back to his senses. He was laying near the main mast of the ship, under the branches of the young tree, a soft pillow under his head, and a warm blanket covering his body. He still felt terrible, but mostly due to the soul damage Mordred had dealt him. The physical wounds were not bothering him too much anymore. It seemed that while Sonny was out of it, the healer of the firekeepers, Shim, had treated him. "I am actually alive. What a miracle." He grimaced and sat up, then stared into the darkness for a bit. The ancient vessel was swiftly flying through the abyss, descending into its depths. Due to that, his body felt nice and weightless. Sonny dismissed the outer layer of the undying chain and studied his chest, where the terrible wound had already closed, be it just barely. Now that he was conscious, he would be able to stitch it up, or at least cover the gash with a bandage, as well as properly take care of the countless smaller injuries on his body. Satisfied with his state, Sonny looked around, noticing Cassie sleeping nearby. Her face was calm and peaceful. He remained still for a few moments, coming to terms with the fact that their harrowing adventure seemed to be over. Of course, in the future, he was going to have to deal with its consequences. And even before that, the second nightmare awaited, perhaps much more terrifying. But at least they were free of the damned Night Temple. What a fiasco. He didn't get to dwell on his frustration for long, however, because a delicious smell suddenly reached his nostrils. and a few moments later Effie appeared nearby, carrying 2 plates of somewhat that seemed like real, freshly cooked food. Sonny's eyes glistened, and his mouth instantly watered. The huntress grinned and handed him a plate. "Here you go, doofus. Welcome aboard." He flashed her a smile, and then attacked the food like a ravenous beast. Effie sat down on the deck and placed the second plate near Cassie, who stirred awake soon after. A few minutes were spent in silence, disturbed only by the sound of energetic chewing. At some point Kai landed nearby and joined them, an easygoing smile on his face. Finally, Sonny was done with his meal and pushed the plate away. "Hey, Effie, about that marriage proposal of yours. I might have changed my mind." She scoffed. "Pfft, you wish." He chuckled, then glanced into the darkness that surrounded them from all sides. "From the fact that we're descending, I get it that we are going toward the Ebony Tower?" Kai nodded. "Yes, we are moving down and toward the tear as fast as we can. You will have to guide us to the rift in the flames once we reach them. Whatever had happened in the Night Temple, we thought that ascending should take priority, not to mention that facing the fallout as masters might change everything." Sonny remained silent for a bit, then smiled crookedly. "Good thinking." As soon as he said it, though, his face darkened. Sonny suddenly looked up, and then paled a little. "Get ready. Something is approaching." They hurriedly stood up and summoned their weapons. The firekeepers did the same, staring into the darkness with tense faces. A few moments later, something landed on the deck with a wet thud. Sharp fangs glistened, reflecting the light of the lanterns. It was the head of a giant black wyvern, torn viciously at the neck. Its eyes were glassy and empty, and its tongue hung lifelessly out of the terrifying maw, the red flames that had once burned within it gone. St. Cormac was dead. The realization sent a shiver through Sonny's body, and a split second later, Skytide was suddenly standing above the head of the slain transcendent, her face cold and expressionless. Tiras looked battered, her graceful armor torn and bloodied. Her golden hair was disheveled, some strands of it painted red. Her presence, however, was unchanged. It was calm and steady. She looked at the 4 of them and frowned. Then her gaze slid lower and focused on the empty plates. "Do you have more food? Bring it. I am famished."